Well, get your popcorn and your pooches, folks, because we've got a doggone wild tale for you today. We're diving headfirst into a canine clash, a bark battle of epic proportions where two lovable pups and their human companions face off against the snarliest neighbor in the building. It's dogs versus Grump, in a story that proves every underdog has its day. Let's dig in. Years ago, my mother and I had just moved to a new dog-friendly apartment complex. We had two dogs. One was a Bichon Shih Tzu, and the other is a Terrier Poodle mix. Because of them, we were excited for the community dog park right next to our building. Also to note, our whole building was filled with dog owners, each with dogs ranging from small to huge. Our apartment was on the first floor in the back of the building, all the way in the corner. It was a nice private area for us with how the apartments were situated. Since one of our dogs is a terrier, he can be a bit barky when we are not home. Though when we are home, we have a clicker to get his attention, which he has been trained to stop barking and come to whoever has the clicker. Due to our work hours, I was usually home in the morning and Mom was home in the afternoon, leaving him alone for a few hours during the day. After a month of moving to our new apartment, we received a note on our door. It was from one of our neighbors. It stated, "Dear neighbor, I understand that you are new to this complex, but it is rude to allow your dog to bark. It is ruining my sleep before I go to work. And my job is extremely important. I don't care how you do it, but shut your dog up." My mom turned in the note right away to the leasing office as she wasn't sure what to do with it. That is when the office told us not to worry because he had done this to every dog owner in the building. They did ask us to see if we can find ways to calm him down when we were not home. So we did. We found out the kids of the neighborhood liked playing with the power station outside our apartment, and that is who he had been barking at. So we closed off that area for him when we went out and no one was home. We started playing calming music as a way to help as well. Another week goes by and this time we hear a knock at the door. We go outside and we meet our angry neighbor. He explains that our dog has kept him up every day and woke him up with his hours of barking. Both of us had been home that day, and our dog had been a good boy and had not had excessive barking. I still remember what he had told us when I explained that. "I know what I heard. If you can't control your dog, then I am going to call animal control and have them both taken from you. I did it before and have no problem getting rid of your dogs too. Then I'll get you kicked out for not following your lease, and I can do that because I am very rich and the apartment needs my money. So do something to shut your dogs up or else." After that, and after my mom apologizing for what had happened, we went back in. A few moments later, I walked out to get the mail and discovered from another neighbor that he had gone to 3 other apartments and made similar threats. After some convincing, my mom told the apartment what had happened. We were told not to worry, and if he did that again to please contact them. We also found out that the apartment had offered him an apartment away from the dogs, but he had declined since the dogs were the problem, and not him. However, after what he had done, my mom began to show signs of anxiety and bought a lemon spray bark collar for our dog. While I didn't like this idea, it had put her at ease to go outside our apartment. We did make sure to only put it on him when we both were not home. A month went by peacefully, then once again we get a knock on our door. This time it was animal control. They had gotten an anonymous report of a dog being abused and neglected in our home. They explained that someone has said that our dogs were barking because of neglect. My mom invited the AC lady inside and explained the situation. We showed her everything we could to prevent our dogs from being taken away. The nice lady noticed how playful and happy our dogs were and figured it was another false call. She explained that they had gotten a few of those from an anonymous concerned neighbor for other apartments in this building. The AC lady left, telling us that if they threaten again to try and get it on record. This event had turned my mom into a paranoid person who became afraid to leave the house, thinking that if she did, then she would lose her pups. Normally, I am the calmest person in my family, never really letting anyone get to me, but this neighbor had did this to hurt us. So I did my research and discovered a few things that could legally help us. With new information on certain laws and leasing terms, I formed a plan. During a weekend that my mom was visiting my aunt in a different state, I began my plan. I started it by printing out a few things and then sat outside with my phone and a speaker. I began to play a video of a dog barking really loud. I had figured out which apartment was his thanks to a few neighbors who also were tired of being harassed. I sat there looking across the courtyard to where his apartment was. I waited with a huge smile on my face, and as I hoped for, he stormed out and headed over to where I was. I turned off my video and turned on my recorder without him noticing. His face is red with anger as he looks at me sitting there with a smile. "I'm sorry, can I help you?" I ask him. "F you. I freaking told you what I will do to your family if you freaking didn't stop your dumb a-hole mutt from ruining my sleep. Now I'm going to get them taken from you and get you kicked out for not doing as I said. I gave you a freaking chance. I hope when they take your dogs that they are killed and you and your mom live inside a cardboard box." I give him a fake "oh dear" look and say, "So you are saying that I am not allowed to make loud noises including my dogs barking between the hours of 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. and that I went against the law by doing so? You know you did. And you are telling me this from my porch at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This won't be your porch once I tell the leasing office." "Oh no, that is a very serious threat for my dogs and my family, isn't it?" "Hell yes it is." I give him a huge smile and turned off my recorder from my phone. The neighbor is confused now and I ask him to have a seat. I have a few things to show him. I pull out my papers and hand him the first one. It was the county's noise ordinance laws. In our county, a dog's bark was considered the same amount of sound as a loud appliance, so they can bark between the hours of 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. Before he could talk, I pull out another paper. This one states that it is against the leasing terms to threaten another neighbor, and after one warning, the apartment complex had the right to revoke their lease. He looks at me with an understanding of what he had done now. I silence him and pull out one last paper. This one was another leasing term I had found. This face, after reading this one, had made him turn white. This last one talked about how it was a complete violation of leasing terms to go onto another renter's property and threaten them or their property. This includes the renter's outdoor area. Those found guilty of this violation will have their lease revoked immediately and be forced to leave the apartment within a set time. The scared look on his face was priceless as I silently got up and walked back into my apartment. After he finally left, I called my leasing office and explained what had just happened and agreed to email the recording to them right away. A week later, my mom came home with some news that she had learned from the leasing office. The man had been evicted from his apartment and would be leaving later that week. I found out that my actions had caused the other dog owners of the building to come forward and admit what he had been doing to all of them. After that, there was never another complaint and I threw away the lemon spray collar. My mom still gets anxiety attacks once in a while, but has been getting help to ease those worries. As for me, I don't regret what I did. I just feel bad that it had to come to this. Well, what a tail-wagging saga we've got here. It's like David and Goliath, only David's a terrier-poodle mix and Goliath is a cranky neighbor with an inflated sense of self-importance. So we start with our canine protagonists, a Bichon Shih Tzu and a terrier-poodle mix, living their best lives in a dog paradise. That's right, an apartment complex with its own dog park. Pure doggy nirvana. But like any paradise, there had to be a snake, and in this case, it was the Grinch of the building, Mr. My Job is Extremely Important. Now, our terrier buddy, being a normal dog, liked to bark at the local kids playing by the power station. You'd think the neighbor would be glad someone was keeping an eye on safety, right? Wrong! Instead, he left a note as sweet as a cup of vinegar, essentially saying, "I'm important, shut your dog up." The protagonists, being responsible dog owners, tried to ease the situation, even resorting to a lemon spray collar, which, let me tell you, sounds like doggy perfume, but it's really not. But Mr. Important wasn't satisfied. He threatened, called animal control, and generally made life a living hell for these poor folks. I mean, the nerve, the audacity, the, undog-loverness of it all. But then, our human protagonist steps up. After some detective work and legal research, she orchestrated a beautiful symphony of dog barks and legal papers, catching Mr. Important in the act, and as they say, the rest is history. And so our story ends, not with a whimper, but with a victorious bark. The dogs kept their home, the nasty neighbor got booted, and Mom threw away the lemon spray collar. I mean, talk about a possum ending. But let's remember, folks, not all heroes wear capes. Some wag their tails and bark at power stations. And in the end, isn't that the real lesson here? I think so. Woof. Thanks for watching till the end. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more of these ridiculous stories. Love you all and stay safe out there in that crazy world. Much love. Peace.